Hello and welcome back, guys. We're now starting a new story, Izuku Midoriya and the Miracle Stone, written by Mask Rider Roy. You can find author's profile link in the description. Let's begin. Izuku Midoriya and the Miracle Stone. Disclaimer: Boku no Hero Academia is owned by Kohei Horikoshi and Bones Arumana no Kiseki is owned by Konami Company. Limited. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is owned by Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Lucasfilm and Walt Disney Pictures. Hello, and welcome to a new experimental Boku no Hero Academia FIC, and here I will be doing another experiment to see if this would attract readers, as this FIC will incorporate a mixture of action, adventure and suspense themes as well as adding bit elements of survival horror. Nostalgia played a factor that led me to come up with this FIC, mainly due to a classic video game that was released only in Japan via the Famicom Disk System. Yup, this FIC is based on the 1987 Konami game, Arumana no Kiseki, which I happened to play it on a rental store 3 decades ago. At that time, it was one of the few rare Famicom Disk System games that came to my country, and the Stage 1 BGM attracted my attention and I was instantly hooked. But due to not owning an FDS at that time, I had little time to play out the game. At that time I didn't know the actual game name, and rumor stated that its international name goes by the name of Miracle Stone. 3 decades later I partially recalled it, and since YouTube is already there, I did a research and learned its actual name and checked it on Wikipedia, and learned that the game is somewhat reminiscent to the 1984 film Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and after watching the whole playthrough on YouTube, I got the gist of it. Having watched the second Indiana Jones film years ago, as well as rewatching the Arumana no Kiseki video, it gave me inspiration to make a fanfic version. It didn't take long for me to come up with someone to portray the main hero if this FIC, as I choose Izuku Midoriya to play the lead hero. Since this FIC will use the plot elements from Arumana no Kiseki, Midoriya will be the sole character from Hero Academia to appear, but other BNHA characters will make appearances at the start before the main plot comes in. Since I'll be borrowing some villains from the Temple of Doom film to act as foil to Midoriya, it is understandable why Temple of Doom is listed on the disclaimer. Well then, read on and enjoy. Ch1, Atarashi Hatsumi to Jusho Heights Academy. The scene shows that Izuku Midoriya has just arrived after going to a park in Tokyo earlier to have a bit of R&R, as he just gained a provisional hero license and is thinking of what to do as summer vacation is coming around the corner, and is contemplating on either to visit his mom Inko, or go to Island to visit Melissa Shield to see how she is doing after the incident that happened months ago. While he is glad that she is okay, Midoriya was somewhat saddened that her dad, David, will have to pay the consequences of conspiring with Wolfram after being tricked into creating a device to help All Might regain his quirk. As Midoriya is walking towards the dormitory, he is intercepted by Nido Monoma, who takes the opportunity to jab an insult towards the Class 1A member, seeing that he has nothing to do and believe that he has no one to go to for internship, and began taunting him, saying that he couldn't find a villain to take on, believing that the villains do not see Midoriya as a threat and went to look for someone more worthy to face on. Midoriya ignored it at first and proceeded to walk away, but Monoma began taunting him again by saying that what would happen if Stain were to escape and challenge Midoriya, and Monoma said that it would be a very exciting scenario so as to show that Class 1A is out of UA Academy Students League, which Midoriya stopped his tracks, as he unintentionally fell for the bait, yet he restrained himself. I wonder, what if, Stain? Yes, Stain, the hero killer that kicked your hide months ago, you got kicked pretty good. Oh yes, I would love to see him beat you silly. That way it'll show that Class 1A are pathetic and the shame of UA Academy. However, Itsuka Kendo showed up and decked Monoma, knocking him down, and chastises him for provoking a fight and said that his actions will get Class 1B into trouble, and told him to stop harassing Class 1A, especially Midoriya, and she apologized to Midoriya for what Monoma just did, which he just nodded and is ready to leave. However, Monoma asked Kendo why is she siding with their hated rival, which she said that Class 1A is not hated, and this made him suspect something, in which he accuses her of having a hidden longing towards Midoriya, and went far as accusing her of planning to stalk him, which caused Midoriya to blush at hearing Monoma's silly accusation. This caused Kendo to blush and began using her quirk to beat up Monoma, telling him that his accusations are entirely baseless and that there is nothing wrong with her socializing with Midoriya, and tells Monoma to stop spouting nonsense. Monoma, you idiot. OWOWOWOW. What made you think that? OWOWOWOW. Midoriya and I are schoolmates. OWOWOWOW. So stop spouting such nonsense. OWOWOWOW. Midoriya sweat dropped at the scene as Kendo is disciplining Monoma, and there she smiled at Midoriya and apologized for what Monoma said minutes ago, which the class 1A nodded and said that it is okay and assured to her that he is not taking it too personally, and said that he is fine with socializing with her, causing Kendo to stare at him in curiosity. There Monoma pointed out his theory and warned Kendo not to get too close to Midoriya, saying that he might plan in seducing her and take her to Midoriya's room so he can take away her virginity, and this made her blush furiously and resumed in beating Monoma up, which he shrieked in pain as she uses her quirk to beat him up silly. Monoma, you idiot. OWOWOWOW. What made you think that? OWOWOWOW. Midoriya won't go that far. OWOWOWOW. So stop spouting such nonsense. OWOWOWOW. Midoriya's sweat dropped again as he watched the two Class 1B members physically bicker, and he sighed at this before deciding to leave and head back to Heights Alliance to get some rest and prepare for tomorrow's classes and exercise, as he and his classmates are advised to strengthen their quirks and come up with a creative way to lessen the drawbacks of their quirks' weaknesses. At Heights Alliance, Midoriya sat on the couch at the living room area, where he is greeted by his classmates, and they were surprised at what he went through earlier, such as going to a stall in the middle of Tokyo Park where he played a lottery game and won a second prize, which Mineta and Kaminari pressured Midoriya to open the prize letter, wanting to see what prize he won. Ida was against it, saying that Midoriya has the right to privacy and that he cannot just reveal his prize to anyone like that, and tells the two to knock it off and not force Midoriya, though Midoriya sighed as he sees that Mineta and Kaminari are showing facial responses that make them look like puppies begging for food, which made him taken aback. Yaoyorozu scolded the two boys for their behavior and told them not to force Midoriya to reveal his prize from winning the lottery, and tells them that they should go and win it if they wanted a prize, but Mineta and Kaminari said they only wanted to know what prize Midoriya won. Come on. Don't be stingy. We just want to know what prize Midoriya win. It's not that bad. We just want to know. Yeah. There's no harm in that. So let's take a look. Right. Ida joined the argument and told his two classmates to knock it off and stop harassing Midoriya, and their Mineta teases Ida, saying that he too wants to take a peek at Midoriya's prize, and the class rep rebutted it and chastises Mineta for the unfounded accusation, sparking an argument between the two boys, which was hilarious to watch at. What was that? Eep. I would never go that far. How dare you make such an accusation? You're acting like a delinquent instead of a hero. You should be ashamed of yourself. Uraraka approached Midoriya and tells him that he should hide his prize letter so that the others won't try in attempting to take a peek, saying that it is precious to him and the others should learn to respect his privacy, which Midoriya smiled and glanced at his classmates, and there he told them to simmer down, stating that he will tell them what prize he won. The others stared in surprise, and Ida asked Midoriya if he is sure, saying that he shouldn't be pressured if he doesn't want to, but Midoriya said it is okay since he is not hiding anything from them, and there the others urges him to reveal the contents of the prize letter. Okay. We want to see. Yeah. Come on. Show it already. We're waiting. Cut the suspense. We're ready. Midoriya sighed and said that he will open the letter, and upon doing so, it revealed that he has won a ticket trip to India, which the others were slightly surprised, as they expected that he would win a lavish trip to more reputable countries, like in Europe and the Mediterranean Sea, which the others agreed, as Yaoyorozu said that countries like New Zealand and Australia would be an ideal trip for a vacation. Tokoyami shared his classmates' sentiments, saying that while India is considered a tourist area, that country is plagued in some places with human rights violation, impunity and apathy, especially the crimes against women and children. The others nodded as they heard the news on the newspapers and the internet, and they wondered why someone would give Midoriya the vacation prize that is destined towards India. Whoa! Tough luck. India of all places. That place makes me cringe. I heard that there are some bad stuff. At least you get to see the elephants. Maybe you might get a magic carpet. Aladdin got one there. That's in Arabian, Minetta. Midoriya thought about it carefully and then came up with a reply, saying that everywhere around the world, while there are bad elements and bad moments, he is sure that there are good ones, and tells his classmates not to judge a country too much as he believes that there are good people there and he is sure that his would-be trip to India would be a good one. Ida and Yaoyorozu thought about it and tells Midoriya that in the event that he decides to use the prize ticket, would he require a chaperone to accompany him there, which Midoriya blinked his eyes in surprise, and asked why the sudden question like that, in which his two classmates reasoned that there may be some bad elements in India that possesses a quirk, and the two said that they are worried that he might get attacked there. Midoriya thought about it well, touched by Ida and Yaoyorozu's concerns, and the rest of Class 1A, save for Bakugo and Todoroki, shared their sentiments and said that Midoriya should consider the possibility that he might get into a fight there given that some Indian nationals there might try anything foolish given that law and order there is a 50-50 thing. Maybe you should reconsider. Yeah. Right. Think about the security and stuff. Not to mention that there might be villains there. And they might possess quirks. Maybe you needed someone to accompany you there. Yes, that would be the best choice. What do you say, Midoriya? Midoriya thought carefully about his classmate's sentiments and said that he will be careful should he decide to go to India in order to make use of the prize ticket, and assured to Class 1A that he won't get into any sort of trouble. A few days later, Midoriya is walking by the hallway as he is heading for Power Loader's shop to see if there is any support devices that could help him in his training as he did not want to rely too much on his quirk, as he tend to use his all-for-one at 100% in the event that he encounters a strong villain such as Muscular, who made Izuku push his limit that resulted in some injuries to his right arm. An hour ago he talked to his teachers and Principal Nizu about his plans to take a summer vacation at India, and after some discussion they allowed Midoriya to go to India as long as no villains are aware of where he would go, reminding him the risks of getting ambushed should the villains catch wind of Midoriya's activities outside UA Academy. As Midoriya arrived at Power Loader's shop, he knocked the door a few times, which he did not get a reply, and as he peered through the door, he was taken by surprise as he saw a thick wire with a sharp hook zoomed past him and it struck the upper wall, and there Midoriya saw Mei Hatsume testing out a new invention she created, which is a left-handed gauntlet that has a wire and metallic hook. She saw Midoriya and greeted him while apologizing if the wire and hook almost hit him. As Midoriya went inside, he asked what was that just now, in which Hatsume said that she is working on her newest invention, a gauntlet grappling hook, which she said that it will come in handy when the user needed something to reach higher grounds should she is low on quirk energy. This grabbed Midoriya's attention as he saw the grappling hook hit the higher area of the wall and then saw the hook and wire still attached on the gauntlet that Hatsume is wearing. He became curious as he felt that it might work as he felt that it can be applied in strategic battles. He then asked Hatsume if she can display the gauntlet some more, which made Hatsume thrilled. Hatsume-san. Yes. Can you show me that gauntlet thing? Are you interested in this newest baby? Yeah, a grappling hook, it might come in handy, especially in combat. Haha. Sure. I'll show you what this baby can do. Great, can you demonstrate it? Okay. Get ready. To be continued. Hope you liked this opening chapter, and while there's not much action here apart from Kendo disciplining Monoma, it served as a prologue of sorts as it sets up the events where Midoriya would eventually set foot to India to where the adventure is about to take place. A nod from the Arumana no Kiseki game references are seen here, such as the grappling hook, which I updated it by having it appear as a gauntlet given that Hero Academia is set in the present day, since the grappling hook on the game was visually ambiguous, as it is unclear if it is a WHP or a device. Still, the grappling hook thing would be later used in the Capcom game Bionic Commando, which I once played it but gave up due to how difficult it is to play. Many thanks to those who read and reviewed this FIC. I really appreciated it, and this gave me inspiration to work on the next chapter. And before I do, a bit of a response from some reviewers who asked some questions regarding this FIC. Yes, I will incorporate the boss battles from Arumana no Kiseki in this FIC, since this FIC is based on the game, but I will update them in a way to fit this story since it takes place in the timeline of the anime, 21st century and stuff, so expect Midoriya to battle the likes of a giant sea creature and all. The story continues to build up as Midoriya gets to receive an invention from Hatsume whilst preparing for his trip to India, so expect a bit of a build-up before our hero takes his first overseas trip. Well then, read on and enjoy. CH2, Shapatsu to Tochaku Heights Alliance. The scene shifts at Power Loader's shop, where it shows that Izuku Midoriya arrived, and as he peered through the door, he was taken by surprise as he saw a thick wire with a sharp hook zoomed past him and it struck the upper wall, and there Midoriya saw Mei Hatsume testing out a new invention she created, which is a left-handed gauntlet that has a wire and metallic hook. She saw Midoriya and greeted him while apologizing if the wire and hook almost hit him. As Midoriya went inside, he asked what was that just now, in which Hatsume said that she is working on her newest invention, a gauntlet grappling hook, which she said that it will come in handy when the user needed something to reach higher grounds should she is low on quirk energy. She said that this device would come in handy if someone needed a way to make a quick getaway, which made him more curious. Voila! See that? My newest baby. It will help you bail out of any situation should your body gets exhausted from using your quirk. Yup. This baby will take you higher and higher. Really? That's right. This grabbed Midoriya's attention as he saw the grappling hook hit the higher area of the wall and then saw the hook and wire still attached on the gauntlet that Hatsume is wearing. He became curious as he felt that it might work, as he felt that it can be applied in strategic battles. He then asked Hatsume if she can display the gauntlet some more, which made Hatsume thrilled. Hatsume-san. Yes. Can you show me that gauntlet thing? Are you interested in this newest baby? Yeah, a grappling hook, it might come in handy, especially in combat. Haha. Sure. I'll show you what this baby can do. Great, can you demonstrate it? Okay. Get ready. Hatsume then fastened the gauntlet on Midoriya's left forearm and told him which buttons to press should he decides to use the grappling hook in order to reach high places, as well as it can be used to knock down targets using the hook's tip, and there Midoriya felt thrilled as he believed that the gauntlet would come in handy, as he could use it to reach high places without using his quirk to do high jumps, as well as he can use it to knock down targets without relying on his quirk to activate. The Detroit Smash. There he aimed his left forearm at the upper corner of the wall and activated the grappling hook, which the hooked wire is fired, and as he is about to toggle the buttons to see if he could be propelled towards the ceiling or if it's possible to pull a target towards him, the gauntlet malfunctioned as Midoriya is suddenly pulled towards the ceiling, crashing face first. There Hatsume placed her fingers under her chin as she observed the scene, where she said that the gauntlet needs a bit of refining and will work on the wiring so it would function well, and there she apologized for what he went through, which Midoriya went silent while in pain. Guess it needs a bit of refinement. But it will be a minor one, so no problem. Now then. Uraraka and Ida passed by Power Loader's shop to see if Midoriya is there, and the two Class 1A members stared wide-eyed in seeing their classmate sorry state as Midoriya remained flat stuck in front of the upper wall, and they demanded that Hatsume bring him down, saying that Midoriya could be hurt from whatever just happened. Hatsume said she will bring him down, but she would need a ladder, and began rummaging the tools to find a ladder, much to Ida's dismay as he and Uraraka told Midoriya to hang in there as they will try to get him down, assuring him that he will be okay and urged him not to move a muscle, which Midoriya remained silent while stuck on the wall. Midoriya. Deku. Are you okay? Deku. Are you hurt? Hang in there, we'll get you down there. Power Loader showed up and is surprised at what he is seeing, and asked Hatsume what just happened and why is Midoriya stuck on the wall near the ceiling, and after being told, he sagged as he tells her to be careful in handing out gadgets when it is not fully tested yet, reasoning that anyone could get seriously hurt by her carelessness. Hatsume smiled and said that Midoriya will be okay, and said that thanks to him she now knows what to do in order to improve the gauntlets, and said that Midoriya is the perfect example of how she can improve her inventions, but an exasperated power loader told her not to use Midoriya as a guinea pig when it comes to experimental gadgets and inventions. Hey! What? I already told you. Don't use people as guinea pigs for your experiments. He. Hatsume. Sorry. A few days later, Midoriya is seen testing out the gauntlet that Hatsume made, and it showed a lot of improvements as he can now control the actions of the grappling hook, and that he can even use it to pull objects towards him, and that the gauntlet is lightweight, hence it won't put a strain on his left forearm and can use it safely in combat situations. Hatsume smiled and said that the grappling hook's wires can be extended, in which he can climb up to 2 stories at a time, and even aid that this is better than using an actual WHP, and bragged that the gauntlet is better suited than using WHPs that are used by known characters such as Simon Belmont and Indiana Jones. Midoriya sweat dropped and asked what those 2 characters she mentioned have any meaning in this. Hatsume snickered and said that the 2 characters are already classical but outdated, and that WHPs can be disarmed whilst wearing a gauntlet. Midoriya won't be easily disarmed and tells him to be careful in using the gauntlet's grappling hook on live targets, saying that it can be fatal if struck on the target's sensitive body parts. There Midoriya nodded and said that he will only do that as a last resort, though he finds it unlikely that he would do that on someone given that he can use his quirk to knock an opponent out without going overboard just to disable him. Hatsume smiled and said that he is good to go and gave him a letter with her signature and instructed him to show it to any guard should he go to malls and other places such as the airport, reasoning that guards are not making any exceptions, even UA Academy students, when it comes to security, and that he might encounter some problems there. Midoriya nodded and thanked Hatsume for the advice. So better hold on to that and show it in case you get frisked and all. I see. The stamp is there, along with my signature. So everything is on board and you're good to go. Thanks, Hatsume-san. Sure, no problem. Come visit again. Sure. Power Loader came and glanced at the gauntlet that Midoriya is wearing, and then asked Hatsume if the gauntlet has been improved and that it won't cause any trouble, which Hatsume gave a thumbs-up gesture, saying that it is safe now and that Midoriya can use it safely and there won't be any untoward accidents like last time, assuring him that everything is on board. Power Loader sighed in relief and said that he is still unsure about letting Midoriya take the gauntlet with him and go somewhere, as he felt that it might pose a problem with the immigration officials at the airport should they find it too lethal to bring along, but Hatsume said that Midoriya has a letter of authorization from her and UA Academy that he can show just in case. Soon Uraraka and Ida showed up, and they saw the gauntlet that Midoriya is wearing, and they are somewhat awed at the cool-looking design, yet they asked if it is safe for him to wear and bring along, which Midoriya assured that everything is okay and that they have nothing to worry about. Are you sure about that? Deku. Don't worry. Everything will be okay. It's okay. I got the authorization letter, and I'm sure it won't be a problem. Make sure about that. Ida-kun's right. Suddenly, Yaoyorozu showed up, and gave Midoriya an itinerary map of India, which shows the popular tourist destination spots, and tells him which places he should go once his trip to India commences, and Ida said that this is a good one and complimented Yaoyorozu for going far just to help Midoriya, which she blushed and said it is nothing, but then she asked Midoriya if he got his passport, which the secret successor of All Might realized that he is due to get it today. A rather excited Midoriya prepares to leave and thanked Yaoyorozu for the help, which she said it is nothing, and there Midoriya left UA Academy, which Uraraka commented that she felt jealous that Midoriya would get to travel abroad, but Yaoyorozu smiled and said that she intended to invite her, along with the other girls, to go on a trip with her to Kyoto to have a summer vacation at the hot springs. Uraraka stared wide-eyed in excitement and thanked Yaoyorozu for that, which the class rep said it is nothing and said that the departure time would be a week from now. Really, Yaoyorozu-san? Aha. You're invited along with our other female classmates. Wow. Thanks. It's nothing. Really. Thank you very much. Sure, but you need to prepare your things. Our departure time would be due next week. Got it. Okay. Several days later, summer vacation has commenced and everyone at UA Academy are getting ready to spend their summer vacation, and at the gates of Heights Alliance, Yaoyorozu is standing there as Uraraka, Azui, Ashido, Kyoka and Hagakure are assembled and are ready to go, as they will be traveling by Shinkansen, and Yaoyorozu reminded her classmates to have everything ready for the trip, and tells them not to lag behind as the train schedule is prompt and they cannot afford to be late. The 6 girls assured to her that all is ready and that she has nothing to worry about, and Yaoyorozu sighed in relief as the 6 girls said that they are all ready for the trip to Kyoto, and Ashido is excited to get to the train station, which Uraraka eagerly agreed. The 2 girls were so excited that barely contained their exciting outlook on the trip. Wow! Our first summer vacation trip. And it's going to be at Kyoto. 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 The hot springs. The food. The inn. After that, the girls boarded a taxi and they are on their way to the train station. Aizawa watches them leave and sighed, as Heights Alliance is going to become somewhat quiet, while All Might asked him if he is okay about letting Midoriya leave for India, which Aizawa said that as long as no villain is aware, Midoriya will be fine, though he do express a bit of concern given that there are inhabitants at India who possess quirks, and it is possible that there may be bad elements there that Midoriya might encounter. All Might felt worried for a moment, yet he regained his confident outlook and assured to Aizawa that Midoriya will be okay and that the boy will be extra careful and would avoid unnecessary battles while at another country, confident that the boy will not try to flaunt his status as a UA student and that with his provisional hero license, he is sure that Midoriya won't get into trouble. You sure are confident as usual, All Might. Of course. Still, Midoriya shouldn't let his guard down. I'm sure that young Midoriya would be very careful and not let his emotion get in the way of being careful when in another country. Still, being 14 and all, that kid still. He'll be fine, Aizawa, hehehe. Aizawa sighed as he head back to UA Academy with All Might following, where the 2 teachers are going to do some paperwork to take advantage of the fact that there won't be any students that would cause a bit of trouble. At the airport, Midoriya stood at the immigration gate as guards are inspecting his belongings, where everything seemed to be in order and that his passport is well documented, though they do question the gauntlet he is carrying, and Midoriya showed the documents and the such, showing that everything is in order and that he is not carrying any illegal weapons. The guard checked the gauntlet again and at the letter of authority, and out of security concern, the guard contacted UA Academy and talked to Power Loader regarding the gauntlet, and after a few minutes, the guard returned the gauntlet to Midoriya and said that everything is cleared, and tells him to be careful, as he heard that security at India and the law enforcement there is somewhat lax. The 15-year-old boy nodded and assured to him that he will be careful and will stay away from trouble, which the guard nodded, as he tells Midoriya not to get carried away just because he is well known in Japan, as he pointed out that not all hero students are well received in other countries, in particular like India. Just be careful, kid. I heard that India has quite a lot of bad reputation when it comes to human rights and stuff, especially about women. I see. You'd be best stay out of trouble. I understand. Good. Then you better enjoy your vacation. I will. After that, Midoriya went to the departure area, and after several minutes he boarded the plane and he is just moments away from leaving Tokyo, and soon the plane took off and he is on his way to India. To be continued. Hope you liked this chapter, and while there's not much action here apart from a brief sample of the device Hatsume made for Midoriya, as well as his classmates egging him to reveal the contents of the prize he got, the story makes up for it, and now he is all set as he boarded the plane and heads out for India. Ch3, Furedo Shogai X Indo Tochaku. Inside the airport, Midoriya is sitting on his assigned seat beside the window, looking at the skies as he is just a few hours away from landing in India, and he is looking at the map of India where certain tourist spots are seen, and he is checking his itinerary to figure out which place he should go first in order to settle at a hotel before planning out his first visit. A stewardess passes by and offered him complimentary food and drinks, canned soft drinks, i.e., Coke or Sprite, to be exact, which Midoriya thanked her for, and there the stewardess, who is of Indian descent, recognized him after seeing him on TV recently for defeating Kai Chisaki and other certain villains through CNN, and said that she is glad to meet someone like him here and asked what is he going to do at India, and there the teen boy smiled and told her the reason. The stewardess smiled and tells him to enjoy his stay in India and hope that he gets a good experience during his stay there and that he finds something memorable to tell his classmates once he return to his country of origin. Then please enjoy your stay at India. You will love our country. Really? Yes. Let's of memorable places you would like to visit. Yeah, I'll do that. And I'm sure there are people who would recognize you. Sure. Okay then, enjoy your flight. I will. However, his trip en route to India would not be as peaceful as expected, as there was a rowdy passenger, who is of Indian descent, and he appeared to be looking for a fight, as he recognized Midoriya and began belittling the boy and even said that he is not a hero but a wannabe, and even said that the boy's accomplishments are just child's play and amount to nothing. The stewardess attempted to pacify the unruly passenger and told him to take his seat, but the rude passenger slapped her aside, and then challenged Midoriya to a fight, which Midoriya declined at first saying he is only here to take a vacation. But then the unruly passenger took out what appeared to be a thick knife-shaped steel object and threatened to puncture a hole on the window that would cause a vacuum of air to seep in and bring the plane down, and then taunted Midoriya for being a coward. So, will you accept my challenge? Hey. If you don't, I make a hole on the plane, and you know what will happen. You can't be serious. I am. So then, let's fight. The other passengers were worried, and a pair attempted to subdue him but were overpowered and injured, and there the unruly passenger gave Midoriya an ultimatum: either the boy accepts the challenge or the passenger would bring the plane down, and took out what appeared to be a grenade, and this caused the other passengers to get scared. Midoriya gritted his teeth as he finds himself in a pinch, and reluctantly accepts the challenge and decided to end this conflict and plans to use a small portion of his quirk to knock the troublemaker out. But then he realized that he has the gauntlet and puts it on his left forearm and aimed it at the unruly man's right hand, and activated the grappling hook and caught the grenade, and he took it, which surprised the man. And there Midoriya discovered that the grenade is only a fake, and then he decided to disarm and disable the man by using the full cowling and focused its energy on his left foot, where he did a running flying kick, which sends the man across and knocks him out. There the rest of the crew tied up the man and puts him in his seat. Then the crew apologized to Midoriya and the other passengers for what happened, but they said that it is okay, and they thanked Midoriya for stopping the foolish man from causing a ruckus even though the boy is really the man's target. Sorry about that, kid. Yes, that man is a shame of India. Please do not think badly of us Indians. No, of course not. Thank you, boy. We'll see to it that this man will be arrested. Please enjoy your flight. We will be there soon. The rest of the minutes went on without further incident, and the flight went on to become generally peaceful, and Midoriya sighed as he never thought that his vacation trip would net him an unsanctioned hero duty that is outside Japanese land. The flight crew then thanked Midoriya for the help and apologized for the disturbance, which he said it is okay, and the flight crew offered him complimentary food and drinks as gratitude for his help, which Midoriya was surprised at the generosity of the flight crew. At UA High, some of the Class 1B students are seen at the garden area where some of the Class 1A students are there, and they overheard Ida, Uraraka, and Yaoyorozu discussing about Midoriya going to India all by himself, and that they are confident that Midoriya will be fine all by himself, and that his trip there would be enjoyable. Some of the Class 1B students were astounded upon hearing and learning that Midoriya got a free trip to India and that he would get to some of the most popular tourist destination spots, and some became impressed and commented that Midoriya is such a lucky boy as he would get to have all the fun, and Itsuka Kendo approached Yaoyorozu and asked if Midoriya is really on his way to India, which Yaoyorozu nodded and said that by now Midoriya should be arriving soon there. Really? Yes. He should arrive at India at this time. Wow. Midoriya is really lucky. I suppose he is. Makes me wish I want to take an overseas trip. I'm sure that one day you would get one, Kendo-san. Yeah. I really like to visit South Korea. That's a bit ambitious, though. However, Nido Monoma showed up and began taunting Class 1A, at Midoriya's expense, saying that Midoriya is sure to get into trouble due to him having the provisional hero license and that Midoriya is sure to look for a fight and brag to the world how great a hero he is, which caused Ida and Uraraka to glare at Monoma, seeing that he is just here to provoke Class 1A. Kendo put a stop to Monoma's foolishness by knocking him out, and there she apologized to Yaoyorozu, Ida and Uraraka about her classmates' foolishness, though the trio said that it is okay. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we don't mind. Just get him out of here. Before he wakes up. He might get all of us in trouble. So please. Put a tape on his mouth. And shut him up. After that, Kendo dragged and knocked out Monoma as they head back to the dorm, while the trio Class 1A members pondered on what to do next. Indira Gandhi International Airport. The Indira Gandhi International Airport is the main international airport situated in the NCR, National Capital Region. It is a public airport and is located in the southwest part of the city. The busiest airport of the country, it houses 6 terminals for serving the passengers. The airport has a capacity of managing over 46 million passengers. About 80 airlines operate from this airport. The airport functions as a hub for the following airlines: Air India Regional, Air India, Go Air, Blue Dart Aviation, Jagsun Airlines, Indigo, Jet Airways, Jetlight, SpiceJet, and Kingfisher Airlines. Midoriya realized that he is now in New Delhi, the main capital of India, and there he went around the arrival area to pick up his belongings and went to the gate where he submitted his bags for inspection via the X-ray machine, which passed safety requirements, and then showed his passport to the immigration guard. The guard checked the passport, and upon seeing the boy's name, the guard offered good compliments to the boy when he realized who Midoriya is, as the guard saw the boy on TV when the UA Sports Festival aired on Indian TV. Izuku: Midoriya, hey, you're that boy with the green costume, aren't you? Yes. I saw the UA Sports Festival, you look cool. Really? Yes, and I know you aim to become a hero, right? Well, yes. Welcome to India. Please enjoy your stay, and I'm sure our people here in India would be thrilled to meet an international hero like you. Ahahaha. Midoriya smiled and went on his way, and passed by a shop where he looked for a map where various tourist spots are shown, as Midoriya needed one given that this is his first time here in India and has no idea where to go. He then passed by an internet cafe and decided to go there and surf the internet, where he downloaded the list of recommended places in India where he would go on a tourist trip, and found the following places that has the most recommendations. The places he found are shown and described: the Taj Mahal, Agra, perhaps India's most recognizable building. The Taj Mahal is also the world's most famous testimony to the power of love. Named after Mumtaz Mahal, the favorite wife of Emperor Shah Jahan, this most appealing of mausoleums was begun upon her death in 1631 and took 20,000 workmen until 1648 to complete. Incorporating many elements of Islamic design including arches, minarets, an onion-shaped dome, and black calligraphy inlaid around the entrance, the Taj Mahal is largely constructed of white marble decorated with delicate inlaid floral patterns and precious and semi-precious stones such as jade, lapis lazuli, diamonds, and mother of pearl. The best time to visit is either at dawn or dusk, when the atmosphere is brilliantly altered by the change in lighting. If possible, try to catch a view of the Taj Mahal's reflection from the far bank of the Yamuna River. It makes for a memorable, and safe, selfie. Address: 64, Taj Road, Agra, 28201. The holy city of Varanasi, a major pilgrimage center for Hindus. The holy city of Varanasi has long been associated with the mighty Ganges River, one of the faith's most important religious symbols. Dating back to the 8th century BC, Varanasi is one of the oldest still inhabited cities in the world. It offers many reasons to visit, not least of them the chance to explore the old quarter adjacent to the Ganges, where you'll find the Kashi Vishwanath Temple, built in 1780. The new Vishwanath Temple with its 7 separate temples is also of interest. Bathing in the Ganges is of great importance to Hindus, and numerous locations known as ghats feature stairways leading to the water where the faithful bathe before prayers. All told, Varanasi boasts more than 100 ghats, the largest being Dasashvamed Ghat and Asi Ghat, the latter, at the confluence of the Ganges and Aci rivers, is considered particularly holy. Also worth seeing is Banaras Hindu University, established in 1917 and noted for its massive library with more than 1 million books, and the superb Bharat Kala Bhavan Museum featuring fine collections of miniature paintings, sculptures, palm leaf manuscripts, and local history exhibits. Harmandir Sahib, the Golden Temple of Amritsar, founded in 1577 by Ram Das, Amritsar is an important hub of Sikh history and culture. The main attraction here is Harmandir Sahib, opened in 1604 and still often referred to as the Golden Temple for its appealing gold decoration. The holiest of India's many Sikh shrines, it also attracts many Hindus and people of other faiths. The temple was built in a blend of Hindu and Islamic styles, its lower marble section featuring such flourishes as ornate inlaid floral and animal motifs, while the large golden dome represents a lotus flower, a symbol of purity to Sikhs. In addition to its splendid design, visitors are equally impressed with the temple's spiritual atmosphere, an effect enhanced by the prayers continuously chanted from the Sikh holy book and broadcast throughout the complex. Part of the overall experience and visitors are welcome to participate is the chance to enjoy one of the 50,000 free meals the attraction serves up to visitors each and every day. Address: Golden Temple Road, Amritsar, Punjab 143006. The Golden City, Jaisalmer, so named for the yellow sandstone used in most of its buildings. The Golden City of Jaisalmer is an oasis of splendid old architecture that rises from the sand dunes of the Thar Desert. Once a strategic outpost, today the city is filled with splendid old mansions, magnificent gateways, and the massive Jaisalmer Fort, also known as the Golden Fort, a daunting 12th-century structure that rises high above the town. In addition to its palaces, temples, and fine old homes, the fortress boasts 99 bastions along with massive gates leading to its main courtyard, where you'll find the 7-story tall Maharaja's Palace. Started in the early 1500s and added to by successive rulers right up until the 19th century, the palace offers sections open to the public, including areas beautifully decorated with tiles from Italy and China, and intricately carved stone doors, as well as a number of Jain temples dating from the 12th to 16th centuries, each decorated with fine marble and sandstone images, palm leaf manuscripts, and brightly painted ceilings. Be sure to also check out the well-preserved 1,000-year-old library, Gyan Bandar, with its many 16th-century manuscripts and antiquities. The Red Fort, New Delhi, built by Shah Jahan in 1648 as the seat of Mughal power, a role it maintained until 1857. The magnificent crescent-shaped Red Fort in New Delhi, named after the stunning red sandstone used in its construction, covers a vast area of more than 2 square kilometers, all of it surrounded by a large moat. Highlights include its 2 largest gates, the impressive Lahore Gate, the fort's main entrance, and the elaborately decorated Delhi Gate, once used by the emperor for ceremonial processions. A fun part of a visit is exploring Chata Chowk, a 17th-century covered bazaar selling everything from jewelry to silk garments, as well as souvenirs and food items. While you can explore the fort yourself, guided tours are offered and provide a fascinating insight into the life and times of the Shah, including a peek into the stunning white marble hall of public audiences, Diwan-e-Am, where he received his subjects. Address: Netaji Subhash Marg, Chandni Chowk, New Delhi, Delhi 110006. Mumbai, the Gateway of India, standing an impressive 26 meters tall and overlooking the Arabian Sea, the iconic Gateway of India is a must-see when in Mumbai. Built to commemorate the arrival of King George V and his wife Queen Mary in 1911, this stunning piece of architecture was opened with much pomp and ceremony in 1924 and was, for a while, the tallest structure in the city. Constructed entirely of yellow basalt and concrete and notable for its Indo-Saracenic design, the Gateway of India was also the scene of a rather less jubilant procession of British soldiers in 1948 when India gained its independence. These days, the huge archway provides a stunning backdrop that is as popular among locals as it is tourists. Mecca Masjid, Hyderabad, construction of Hyderabad's Mecca Masjid, one of the world's largest mosques and one of the oldest in India, began in 1614 during Muhammad Suli Qutb Shah's reign and took almost 80 years to complete. Large enough to accommodate 10,000 worshippers, this appealing mosque's 15 enormous arches and pillars were each wrought from single slabs of black granite dragged to the site by huge cattle trains reputedly consisting of up to 1,400 bulls. Taking its name from the bricks above the central gate that were brought here from Mecca, this impressive complex features highlights such as its main gateway, huge plaza, a large man-made pond, and a room that houses the hair of Prophet Muhammad. Other notable features include inscriptions from the Quran above many of the arches and doors, the exquisite roof of the main hall, the cornices around the entire mosque structure, and the floral motifs and friezes over the arches. Address: Hyderabad, Telangana 500002. Amber Fort, Jaipur. Amber Fort, often also spelt Amber, was built as a fortified palace in 1592 by Maharaja Man Singh I and has long served as the capital of Jaipur. Carved high up into the hillside, the fort is accessible on foot via a steep climb or by shuttle rides from the town below. Better still, let an elephant do the work. Highlights include Jalab Chowk, the first courtyard, with its many decorated elephants, and the Sheela Devi temple, dedicated to the goddess of war. Also of note is the adjoining Hall of Public Audience, Diwan-im, with its finely decorated walls and terraces frequented by monkeys. Other highlights include Sukh Niwas, the Hall of Pleasure, with its many flower beds and a channel once used to carry cooling water, and the Temple of Victory, Jai Mandir, notable for its many decorative panels, colorful ceilings, and excellent views over the palace and the lake below. Just above Amber Fort is Jaigarh Fort, built in 1726 by Jai Singh and featuring tall lookout towers, formidable walls, and the world's largest wheeled cannon. Be sure to also spend time wandering the walled old city of Jaipur with its 3 fully restored gates and splendid bazaars, as well as the delightful city palace, a massive complex of courtyards, gardens, and buildings. The beaches of Goa, long known within India as the go-to destination for those seeking a great beach holiday, Goa's appealing western coastline, overlooking the Arabian Sea, has only recently been discovered by tourists from overseas. Goa's more than 60 miles of coastline is home to some of the world's loveliest beaches, each with their own particular appeal. For those looking for peace and quiet, isolated Agonda Beach is a good choice, while Kalangute Beach is by far the most commercial and crowded. For those in search of posh resorts, yoga getaways, and spa vacations, the beaches of Mandrem, Morjim, and Ashram are fashionable among wealthy Indians and Westerners alike. Palolem is another popular option in an appealing setting. While in Goa, be sure to visit the Bhagwan Mahavir Wildlife Sanctuary. This superb attraction is home to thick forests and plenty of fauna, including deer, monkeys, elephants, leopards, tigers, and black panthers, as well as India's famous king cobras and some 200 species of birds. Also worth a visit is Devar Island, accessed by ferry from Old Goa. Highlights include Piedade, a typical Goan village and home to the Church of Our Lady of Compassion with its interesting stucco work, Baroque plaster decorations, and altars, as well as stunning views of the surrounding countryside. Periyar National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary, Madurai, one of South India's most popular tourist attractions. Periyar National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary is centered around a lake built by British engineers in 1895 for irrigation and to provide water to the city of Madurai. Established in 1934, this appealing park is home to numerous species of mammals, including a large free-roaming Indian elephant population, wild boar, otters, the lion-tailed macaque, and more than 20 Bengal tigers. Bird watching is a popular activity with frequent sightings of species such as darters, storks, kingfishers, hornbills, and racket-tailed drongos, along with many interesting varieties of butterflies. The best ways to enjoy the park's splendid mountain scenery are to take a lake cruise or guided jungle walk, the latter allowing visitors a chance to come face to face with elephant herds and observe other wildlife from watchtowers and viewing platforms. Hot tip: be sure to stop at one of the many nearby spice, tea, or coffee plantations for a tour. Agra Fort, built as a military structure in 1565 by Emperor Akbar with later additions by Shah Jahan, the stunning Agra Fort, also known as Agra's Red Fort, is an interesting mix of both Hindu and Muslim influences. Located a little more than 2 kilometers from the Taj Mahal, the fort is entered through a Mar Singh gate with its low outer wall and dogleg design built to confuse attackers. Once inside, you'll see two large interlinked sandstone buildings, Akbari Mahal and Jahangiri Mahal, the largest private residence in the complex. Other highlights include the Taj Mahal, private palace, with its splendid copper roof, and the Anguri Bagh, grape garden, a jigsaw-patterned Mughal garden with numerous wonderful fountains and water channels as well as screens that once offered a private area for the emperor and his entourage. Also of note is the octagonal Muzaman Burj Tower, which later served as Shah Jahan's prison until his death. Address: Rakibganj, Agra, Uttar Pradesh 282003. The Ellora Caves, Aurangabad. The famous monumental Ellora Caves were built between the 5th and 10th centuries by Buddhist, Jain, and Hindu monks, and make for an excellent excursion from Mumbai, some 300 kilometers to the west. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this remarkable collection of 34 carved monasteries, chapels, and temples, 12 of them Buddhist, 17 Hindu, and 5 belonging to the Jain faith were built in close proximity to each other, a reflection of the religious tolerance that existed during this period of Indian history. Of the Buddhist monastery caves, highlights include a number of shrines featuring carvings of Buddha and saints dating from the 5th to 7th centuries, as well as the stunning Carpenter's Cave, considered one of the finest in India. The Hindu caves are much more complex and were carved from the top down, so scaffolding was not necessary. Of these, the best is the Kailasa Temple, an enormous rock-cut temple representing Mount Kailasa and requiring the removal of 200,000 tons of rock. Marangar Fort, Jodhpur, dominating the old city of Jodhpur, the massive Marangar Fort, one of the largest fortifications in India, was built in the 15th century to safeguard the people of the famous Blue City, as Jodhpur is still known, a name derived from its indigo-colored houses, painted blue to deflect the heat. Built on top of a towering outcrop, Marangar is an amazing feat of construction, its massive walls all but impenetrable. Access is via one of 7 splendid gates, including Jaya Pole and Fateh Pole, the latter still bears scars from cannon attacks. Highlights of a visit include exploring the fort's fascinating network of courtyards and palaces, as well as a museum housing a splendid collection of artifacts related to the Maharajas. Be sure to spend time in the historic center of Jodhpur itself, famous for its 8 city gates, a lovely old clock tower, and numerous bazaars selling everything from vegetables to sweets, skis, and handicrafts. Address: Fort Road, Jodhpur, Rajasthan 342006. Mysore Palace. The sprawling city of Mysore is a delight to explore thanks to its eclectic mix of fine old colonial architecture, regal Indian palaces, and lush, well-manicured gardens. While those inclined towards shopping will enjoy spending time in the city's famous silk and sandalwood bazaars, the main attraction is magnificent Mysore Palace. Completely rebuilt in 1897 after a devastating fire, this appealing 3-storied palace features highlights such as its elegant square towers and domes, the many ornate ceilings and pillars in Durbar Hall, and the splendid marriage pavilion, with its glazed floor tiles, stunning stained glass, artworks, and displays of jewelry. It's also where, on special occasions, the exquisite golden throne is exhibited. For a real treat, be sure to catch one of the splendid light displays held each Sunday and during holidays, when the palace is illuminated by more than 90,000 lights. A fun way to explore the palace's massive grounds and gardens is as part of a CYCL tour, available free once inside. Address: Sayaji Rao Road, Mysore, Karnataka 570001. Mahabodhi Temple, Bodh Gaya, Bodh Gaya, considered the world's holiest Buddhist site, attracts thousands of visitors each year, all drawn to participate with the resident monks in meditation and prayer. The focal point of this place of pilgrimage is stunning Mahabodhi Temple, built next to the very spot where Buddha came to enlightenment and formulated his philosophy on life. Constructed in the 6th century and restored numerous times since, the temple is topped with an appealing pyramidal spire and houses a large gilded statue of Buddha. Also of interest is the site's peepal tree, a descendant of the original Bodhi tree where Buddha meditated for 7 days after the Enlightenment, said to be among the oldest and most venerated trees in the world. You'll know you found it when you spot the red sandstone slab marking the spot. Address: Bodh Gaya, Bihar 824231. Having what he needed, Midoriya printed the info on a bond paper and paid to the cashier, and then leaves the airport, where he took a taxi and asked the driver to take him to the nearest hostel, which the driver obliges, and upon seeing Midoriya, he asked if Midoriya is alone and if he is fine going to places all by himself, as he can tell the Midoriya is a high school student from another country. Yes, I'm in high school. All by yourself? Yes. Quite brave of you. Just be careful. Not every place in India is safe. I understand. Thanks for the concern. Well then, shall we go? Yes sir. Okay, enjoy the ride. Midoriya chatted with the cab driver and soon arrived at the destination, where Midoriya paid the taxi fare and went inside the hostel where he would settle in to rest and plan out his tourist trip on which places he would intend to go to begin his vacation. Ch4, Kenkakyaku no Toraburu. The Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, also known as the Crown of the Palace, is an ivory-white marble mausoleum on the south bank of the Yamuna River in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, reigned from 1628 to 1658, to house the tomb of his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal. It also houses the tomb of Shah Jahan himself. The tomb is the centerpiece of a 17-hectare, 42-acre, complex, which includes a mosque and a guest house, and is set in formal gardens bounded on three sides by a crenellated wall. It was one of India's most frequently visited areas where tourists and residents often flock due to its rich history and its vast resources and ambience, and most of the visitors are from neighboring countries within Asia and others from other places such as Europe and North America, where the rich and the middle-class people are the ones who came here to visit. The time now is 9 o'clock, and it shows that 2 days have passed since Izuku Midoriya arrived, and after planning his itinerary he decided to visit Taj Mahal first based on the favorable reviews he read via the internet, and from some residents who recommended it, and now Midoriya is among the several tourists who arrived here and he is ready to make his first visit as a tourist. However, his supposed peaceful visit did not last long, as some of the other tourists noticed Midoriya and recognized him after watching him live at the recent sports festival of UA Academy, and they began complimenting him for his performance and determination after narrowly losing to Shoto Todoroki at the semifinals. The admirers ranges from Asians to Europeans, and complimented Midoriya for showing his cool intellect in formulating strategies that helped him get through the final rounds of the sports festival. Hey, I saw you on cable TV. You sure are cool. Yeah, you made it to the semifinals. It's a shame you narrowly lost to the boy with fire and ice. But you shouldn't be daunted. You have a long way to go. So you plan to a hero, right? Keep it up, lad. You'll achieve your dreams soon. Keep up the good work, boy. Midoriya blushed and said that he did not do anything special and said that he is just an aspiring hero student, yet his act of humbleness and humility further earned the respect of the other tourists, and tells the 15-year-old boy that he will soon reach his dreams and become a bona fide pro-hero, and that his humbleness is what will take him to the top. They also told Midoriya that he should be mindful of his surroundings since he is in a foreign country, and told him to take note that there are some countries who do not appreciate hero students from other countries stealing their thunder, and advises him to act only if necessary and not out of showing off. Be mindful of your surroundings, lad. You're in a foreign country. They sometimes do not appreciate quirked people from other countries stealing India's limelight, if you get my drift. So don't jump in unless the situation calls for it, boy. Remember, you're a visitor and not a local. We're telling you this since we are quite concerned about the fact that you came here alone. Don't take it too personally. Sure, thanks, sir, ma'am. By then the tour guide came and told the tourists to line up as they are about to begin the tour of Taj Mahal, and so the tourists, Midoriya included, began to follow the tour guides as they began their trek and began to walk about the area they are in. As the tour is underway, the tour guide began explaining the origins of the area, where he told the tourists about the construction of the mausoleum, which was essentially completed in 1643, but work continued on other phases of the project for another 10 years. According to the tour guide, the Taj Mahal complex is believed to have been completed in its entirety in 1653 at a cost estimated at the time to be around 32 million rupees, which in recent times, would be approximately 8 billion rupees, US, $827 million. The construction project employed some 20,000 artisans under the guidance of a board of architects led by the court architect to the emperor, Ustad Ahmad Lahori. The tourists were astounded at hearing this and learned something about how Taj Mahal came to be. Wow! Interesting. So that's it. Hearing this info in live action is better than reading Wikipedia. Glad I came here. So educational. Makes me to want to visit this place again. This is gonna be good. The tour guide then explained that the Taj Mahal was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983 for being the jewel of Muslim art in India and one of the universally admired masterpieces of the world's heritage. It is regarded by many as the best example of Mughal architecture and a symbol of India's rich history. The Taj Mahal attracts 7 to 8 million visitors a year, and in 2007, it was declared a winner of the new 7 Wonders of the World, 2000 to 2007, initiative. Midoriya listened attentively and learned something about the lecture, and he began to mumble about what he learned, which caught the attention of the other tourists, and they were bemused to see Midoriya acting like an elementary student on a field trip, and they jokingly told him that he is in a tour with tourists and not at a school field trip, which Midoriya apologized, but the tourists politely assured to him that it is okay. Sorry about that. Oh, don't sweat it. It's fine. You sure are innocent. Makes me wish I had my youth again. Better enjoy your trip here. You'll never get to experience this again. Alright. The tour guide sighed and told the rest to pay attention, as he continued his lecture, explaining more about Taj Mahal's history, where he explained that the Taj Mahal was commissioned by Shah Jahan in 1631, to be built in the memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal, who died on June 17 that year, giving birth to their 14th child, Gauhara Begum. Construction started in 1632, and the mausoleum was completed in 1643, while the surrounding buildings and garden were finished 5 years later. The imperial court documenting Shah Jahan's grief after the death of Mumtaz Mahal illustrates the love story held as the inspiration for the Taj Mahal. According to the lecture of the tour guide, the Taj Mahal incorporates and expands on design traditions of Persian and earlier Mughal architecture. Specific inspiration came from successful Timurid and Mughal buildings including the Gur-e-Amir, the tomb of Timur, progenitor of the Mughal dynasty, in Samarkand, Humayun's tomb which inspired the Charbagh Gardens and Hasht-Behesht architecture, plan of the site, Itmaduddin-e-Daula's tomb, sometimes called the Baby Taj, and Shah Jahan's own Jama Masjid in Delhi. While earlier Mughal buildings were primarily constructed of red sandstone, Shah Jahan promoted the use of white marble inlaid with semi-precious stones. Buildings under his patronage reached new levels of refinement. The tourists then took out their smartphones and began taking pictures of the important artifacts that were on display, and some did a selfie as they commented that this was one of the best tourist destinations they ever done, and they were glad to have come here without a second thought. Selfie. Haha. Sure am glad to come here. It was a blast. I'll make sure I'd come back here again. This is one of the best tourist destination ever. Next time I'll invite my friends to come over here. Yeehaw. As Midoriya is also taking pictures, his smartphone rang and he answered it, where it was a long-distance call, where the caller turned out to be his mom, Inko, and she asked her only child how his trip in India is, which he assured to her that he is doing fine and that she should not worry too much as he is safe and sound, and stated that he is in the middle of a tour in Taj Mahal. Really, Izuku? Yes, Mom. Okay, just enjoy your trip. I will. Make sure that you. I know, Mom, I know. Okay. See you soon. Yes, Mom. Seeing that her son is doing fine, Inko tells her son to be extra careful since he is all by himself, and he assured to her that he is doing fine and that she has nothing to worry about, and as the call ended, Midoriya is ready to listen more of the lectures from the tour guide, but then he discreetly noticed one of the tourists, seeing that his shoes are somewhat disheveled and that his attire was a bit dusty. He also noticed that the person's hand is inside his pocket and that he is trying to pull something out, and Midoriya sensed that something is amiss, so he pretended that he did not notice anything and remained discreet to avoid attracting suspicion. Soon the tourist pulled something out from his pocket, which turned out to be a grenade, and the person turns out to be not a tourist but a jihadist, as he tells the tourists that they are infidels who are feasting over the treasures of India and that they will pay in kind, such as their worthless lives and their BLD, which the tourists began to panic. He's got a grenade. Watch out. He's gonna throw it at us. EKK. Run. Someone call for help. Save us. I don't want to die. As the jihadist is about to remove the safety pin of the grenade, Midoriya went into action, as he activated his full cowling and tackled the attacker in blinding speed, and punched him on his gut, disabling him while taking the grenade, and gave it to the tour guide while telling him to call for security. Here. Whoa. The safety pin is still there. Oh. Call for the police. Why yes. Anyone, I need something to tie up this man. Okay. As the other tourist helped Midoriya in tying up the jihadist, they thanked the boy for his prompt action and said that it is unfortunate that there are people who do nothing but cause trouble, all in the misguided name of religion, as the jihadist turned out to be of a Pakistani who secretly came here illegally and is indoctrinated into doing terrorism as a way of life. You infidels are sick. You're the one who is sick. Yeah, why cause trouble when no one here done anything wrong to you? Is hurting people all you can think about? It is the way it should be. Our God permitted it as it will bring salvation. You're a messed up guy. You ought to be put in the mental hospital. Someone shut this guy up. Yeah, he's crazy. The jihadist was defiant and said that he is doing this in the name of the Almighty, yet Midoriya rebuked him for using religion as an excuse for committing murder, but the jihadist insisted that it was justified as he is doing his will and nothing more, and even told Midoriya that he is the devil that must be purged in order for India to become a holy land once more. Midoriya glared at the attacker, but the police came and thanked him for the help, telling him not to get riled up at a person who is a lost cause, and told him to enjoy the rest of his vacation here, which Midoriya nodded, and as the attacker is taken away, the tour guide assembled everyone and continued the tour at Taj Mahal, and everything went well without further incident. By the end of the day, Midoriya returned to the hostel he is staying and is planning his next visit now that he has taken a lot of pictures of Taj Mahal, and is now considering in making his next tour, when the janitor came and told Midoriya that he is being credited on the news about him stopping the jihadist, and Midoriya humbly said he is just doing what a citizen would do. Hey, boy. Ha. You're on TV. Me. Yes, you were given credit for saving the tourists while in Taj Mahal. WL. You really are a hero. After that, he decided to rest up and prepare for his next trip. Ch5, Yoki Senadei Amritsar, historically also known as Ramdaspur and colloquially as Amritsar, is a city in northwestern India which is the administrative headquarters of the Amritsar district and is located in the Majha region of the Indian state of Punjab. According to the 2011 census, the population of Amritsar was 1,132, it is one of the 10 municipal corporations in the state, and Karamjit Singh Rintu is the current mayor of the city. The city is situated 217 kilometers, 135 miles, northwest of state capital Chandigarh and 455 kilometers, 283 miles, northwest of New Delhi, the national capital. It is near Pakistan, with the Wagah border being only 28 kilometers, 4 miles, away. Amritsar has been chosen as one of the heritage cities for HRDI, Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana scheme of Government of India. Amritsar is home to Harmandir Sahib, popularly known as the Golden Temple, one of Sikhism's most spiritually significant and most visited gurudwaras. The city is also known for its wooden chessboards and chess pieces manufacturing industry. Midoriya arrived minutes ago as he joins a group of tourists who are seeking to learn its history as well as taking souvenir pictures, and the teen boy is rather excited, and hoped that he doesn't encounter another troublemaker like what happened recently at Taj Mahal. There another group of tourists recognized Midoriya and complimented him in a friendly way. He modestly said he is just a student wanting to become a pro-hero, and the tourists encouraged him to do his best so that he can become successful in his upcoming career. Keep up the good work, boy. Do your best. Be the great hero that you want to be. And don't let success get to your head. The world will be watching you. And don't let the support you receive go in vain. You'll one day become a real hero. Be like All Might. Bye. Then the tour guide arrived and had everyone assembled, and there the tour within Amritsar is about to commence, and there the tour guide began explaining about the site's history, which Midoriya began to take notes of the lecture. According to the tour guide, Guru Ram Das, the fourth Sikh guru, is credited with founding the holy city of Amritsar in the Sikh tradition. Two versions of stories exist regarding the land where Ram Das settled. In one based on a gazetteer record, the land was purchased with Sikh donations, for 700 rupees from the owners of the village of Tung. According to the Sikh historical records, the site was chosen by Guru Amar Das and called Guru de Chak, after he had asked Ram Das to find land to start a new town with a man-made pool as its central point. After his coronation in 1574, and the hostile opposition he faced from the sons of Amar Das, Ram Das founded the town named after him as Ramdaspur. He started by completing the pool, and building his new official Guru's center and home next to it. He invited merchants and artisans from other parts of India to settle into the new town with him. The town expanded during the time of Aryan, financed by donations and constructed by voluntary work. The town grew to become the city of Amritsar, and the pool area grew into a temple complex after his son built the Gurdwara Harmandir Sahib, and installed the scripture of Sikhism inside the new temple. In the construction activity between 1574 and 1604 is described in Mahima Prakashvartak, a semi-historical Sikh hagiography text likely composed in 1741. And the earliest known document dealing with the lives of all the 10 gurus. Soon the next topic is shown about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. According to the tour guide, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, involving the killings of hundreds of Indian civilians on the orders of a senior British military officer, Reginald Edward Harry Dyer, took place on April 13, 1919 in the heart of Amritsar, the holiest city of the Sikhs, on a day sacred to them as the BRTH anniversary of the Khalsa, Baisakhi Day. In Punjab, during World War I, 1914–18, there was considerable unrest, particularly among the Sikhs, first on account of the demolition of a boundary wall of Gurdwara Rakab Ganj at New Delhi, and later because of the activities and trials of the Gadarites, almost all of whom were Sikhs. In India as a whole, too, there had been a spurt in political activity, mainly owing to the emergence of two leaders, Mahatma Gandhi, 1869–1948, who after a period of struggle against the British in South Africa, had returned to India in January 1915, and Annie Besant, 1847–1933, head of the Theosophical Society of India, who on April 11, 1916 established the Home Rule League with autonomy for India as its goal. In December 1916, the Indian National Congress, at its annual session held at Lucknow, passed a resolution asking the king to issue a proclamation announcing that it is the aim and intention of British policy to confer self-government on India at an early date. On April 10, 1919, Satya Pal and Saifuddin Kichlu, two popular proponents of the Satyagraha movement led by Gandhi, were called to the Deputy Commissioner's residence, arrested and sent off by car to Dharamsetla, a hill town, now in Himachal Pradesh. This led to a general strike in Amritsar. Excited groups of citizens soon merged into a crowd of about 50,000 marching on to protest to the Deputy Commissioner against the arrest of the two leaders. The crowd, however, was stopped and fired upon near the railway footbridge. According to the official version, the number of those killed was 12 and of those wounded between 20, and evidence before an inquiry of the Indian National Congress put the number of the dead between 20 and 3 days later, on April 13, the traditional festival of Baisakhi. Thousands of Sikhs, Muslims and Hindus gathered in the Jallianwala Bagh. An hour after the meeting began as scheduled at 16:30, Dyer arrived with a group of 65 Gurkha and 25 Baluchi soldiers. Without warning the crowd to disperse, Dyer blocked the main exits and ordered his troops to begin shooting toward the densest sections of the crowd. Firing continued for approximately 10 minutes. A British inquiry into the massacre placed the death toll at the Indian National Congress determined that approximately 1,000 people were killed. Midoriya stared in curiosity as he get to learn the tragic history about massacre. As he is about to move to the next location with the rest of the tourists, he noticed what appeared to be a young Indian woman, and is badly hurt and bleeding. What's more, the passerby seemingly ignored her, due to her being in an impoverished attire, and he approached the woman, letting the rest of the tourists go ahead, and using a device made by Hatsume that allows him to communicate in different languages. Midoriya asked the woman what is wrong and who did this to her. The woman is in her teens, and desperate for help. She told Midoriya that she is from the village of Mayapore, which he notes that it is located in northern India. There she told him that she escaped from her village after cult members attacked it, and through unknown means the men and the elderly in her village were turned into stone, kidnapped the women and children while searching for the village's secret treasure. Midoriya asked why didn't she contact the police for help, but she did not elaborate, other than claiming that the police cannot be trusted. The police can't be trusted. Ha! Why? Hang in there. Our village, largely ignored, the government, pay only attention to, the rich. I'll get you to a hospital. And no, go help, my village. Midoriya then saw something in her bag, where a palm-sized red gem fell off, and as he gave it to her, the woman tells him that this is the miracle stone, which the cult members are seeking, and begged him to protect the stone and save the village, which Midoriya appeared motivated to help. However, a dagger flew and struck the woman and pierced the back of her skull, killing her instantly and slumped to the ground, in which blood filled the area her dead body is in. Midoriya stared in shock as this is the first time that a person died in front of him, and as he looked straight, he saw an Indian man brandishing another knife and is ready to throw it at him in an attempt to silence any witnesses, and Midoriya is poised to use his shoot style, but then recalled that he is wearing his gauntlet and uses the grappling hook to knock down the attacker and succeeded in disarming him. There he approached the murderer and demanded to know why he murdered an innocent girl, but the man grinned wickedly in response. You there? Why did you do that? Are you really a murderer? Answer me. Soon 3 more Indian men arrived and attacked Midoriya, causing the boy to unknowingly drop the gem, and the attackers are using knives to cut him, but he evaded them and used one for all 5%, knocking the 2 back while the third man unleashed a bag and opened it, revealing that 3 cobras are set loose, and they seem to be targeting the boy. Left with no choice as he cannot afford to let the cobras wreak havoc on the streets, Midoriya uses his other quirk, Black Whip, and takes out the cobras, and by the time he looked around, the men are gone, and as he approached the dead woman, he realized that the gem was gone and has been taken away, and he decided to call the police to report what happened. At the police station. Midoriya twitched his eyes as he is being interrogated by the police about the incident, and it is shown that he is being pressed as the suspect and are pressuring him to admit the crime, and yet Midoriya maintained his innocence and said to the police what really happened, yet the police said there are no witnesses and that his alibi doesn't stick. No way. No witnesses. You're the only one there. Too many dead bodies. But. Then that means you're the suspect. But I already told you. Just admit it and everything will be fine. You got it all wrong. We got this right. You're the culprit. Admit it and we can get down to business. The police chief came and asked his men how are things here, and the cop said that Midoriya refuses to admit his crimes, and suggested that he be charged for murder of an innocent woman and the several men, which the boy stated his rights and said that they have no proof that he did it, as well as telling them that he is the one who called the police in the first place. Moreover, Midoriya told the police chief that he is underage and hence he cannot be charged since he is currently 16 years old, and if the police chief insists on doing this he would be violating the due process of the law. The police chief appeared to be smug and said that the law here in India is different and they can charge anyone who the police believe violate the law, regardless of the suspect's age, and tells Midoriya that he is not exempted and hence he can still be charged no matter what, and there he tells his men to beat up the boy if necessary, which the corrupt cops are more than willing to oblige. Sure. No problem, my pleasure. If it can make him confess his crimes. We'll do it. We can get away with it. Haha. Time to get to work. As Midoriya realizes that he may have no choice but to fight off the inept cops, he faces the possibility of getting into conflict with the government of India, and as he is contemplating to use his quirk, the Black Whip, and the gauntlet that houses the grappling hook, an unforeseen intervention took place, as a horde of poisonous cobras came inside the police station and surrounded the precinct. The police chief and his inept men were taken by surprise and are trembling in terror at the thought of being bitten by the cobras, and they asked the chief on what they should do, and the foolish police chief berated his men and ordered them to open fire on the cobras no matter what. You idiots! Use your guns. But we will be wasting bullets. Can't we? Just open fire, you morons. Oh okay. Sure. Just let me reload. As the inept cops drew their guns and shoots the cobras, their confidence were somewhat restored as they managed to kill half of them, but then more cobras entered the precinct and suddenly jumped on the foolish cops, biting them and injecting venom on their prey. The police chief was terrified as he watched his men screaming as they were bitten as well as being overpowered, and there he is surrounded by the cobras, and he screamed at his men to help him, but his men slowly expired due to the venom, and soon he can hear the prisoners screaming as they too are being bitten by the cobras. Help me. Help. I don't want to die. I want women. I'm going to die. Goodbye cruel world. DMN the boy. DMN the snake. Panicking, the police chief jumped through the window and ran off, leaving Midoriya alone, and the boy stared at his surroundings as he believed that someone is behind this and assumed that an attacker is commanding the cobras, believing that the attacker has a quirk similar to Koda, and as the cobras are zeroing in on their prey, Midoriya activated the Black Whip and disabled the cobras, and he found a large container and places the unconscious snakes there. He then checked on the prisoners who are behind bars, and find out that they too have died, as they were also attacked by the cobras, and the teen boy clenched his fists as he failed to save lives, yet he had to resist the urge to feel sorry for himself and ran outside the precinct, where he saw the police chief laid dead, as 3 pairs of cobras are there, continuing to bite its prey despite him already dead. Midoriya then saw the culprit, another Indian man dressed like a cult member, holding a flute, and there the man played the tune and the cobras turned their attention towards Midoriya and are poised to attack. But through careful observation, the UA student uses the gauntlet and aimed it at the flute, where the grappling hook is fired, and struck the flute, resulting in the object being shattered, and now the snakes are free from control, but ironically, they went for the man who controlled them, and began biting him. The man screamed as he is being bitten all over his body, and Midoriya uses the Black Whip again and disables the cobras, and as he checked on the attacker, he slowly died from the venom, and Midoriya looked around to see if there are any more attackers, but then a stranger suddenly showed up, and it was a village teen girl, and she tells Midoriya that the man who controls the cobras, and the ones who attacked Midoriya earlier, are members of a cult who worships the goddess Kali. She tells Midoriya to come with her as she will provide him details on who the cult is and why he is being targeted, and though he seemed unwilling as he has to call for the police about the massacre, she tells him there is no time as the cult members might come and try to kill him again. There is no time. But the police cannot be trusted because they are too inept and lax. Time is of the essence, and you are the only one who can save my fellow villagers. Where are we going then? To Mayapore. My village that has been ravaged by the cult. Mayapore. To be continued. Hope you liked this chapter, as Midoriya got his second trip and just as he is about to enjoy his new tourist expedition, it was marred again, only this time by a group of wicked persons who seemingly targeted him for trying to help an impoverished villager who died in his arms. The police there seemed to be either inept or foolish, which allowed more attackers to attempt on Midoriya's life, and though he escaped death, the foolish cops did not. Now someone is willing to offer assistance to Midoriya in solving this case and find out who this cult is. The titular Miracle Stone, based on the Konami Famicom game Arumana no Kiseki appeared, and though it fell to the hands of the attackers, this jumpstarts Midoriya's adventure ch6, Hochi sa Reta Mura. The man screamed as he is being bitten all over his body, and Midoriya uses the Black Whip again and disables the cobras, and as he checked on the attacker, he slowly died from the venom. And there Midoriya looked around to see if there are any more attackers, but then a stranger suddenly showed up. And it was a village teen girl, and she tells Midoriya that the man who controls the cobras, and the ones who attacked Midoriya earlier, are members of a cult who worships the goddess Kali. She tells Midoriya to come with her as she will provide him details on who the cult is and why he is being targeted, and though he seemed unwilling as he has to call for the police about the massacre, she tells him there is no time as the cult members might come and try to kill him again. There is no time. But the police cannot be trusted because they are too inept and lax. Time is of the essence, and you are the only one who can save my fellow villagers. Are we going then? To Mayapore. My village that has been ravaged by the cult. Mayapore. Left with no choice, Midoriya went with the teen girl. As they leave the scene there, the village girl boarded a bicycle and Midoriya boarded behind her as the girl pedaled and leaves the police station in order to bring him to Mayapore so as to show him the reason why she wanted his help as well as to shed light on why the miracle stone was stolen. Several minutes later, soldiers passed by and are taken by surprise at the scene of the crime, and seeing the bite marks on the man, the policeman and the prisoners, they assume that wild snakes have come here and are looking for food. Thus they felt that this is not really a crime but an accident, as the soldiers are unaware that cult members did the murder and were killed by the cobras in the process. DMN. What a sight. So, do we treat this as a crime scene? No need. Just tell the press it's just an accident. Really? Yeah. Snakes are animals. Not criminals. You got a point. Right. The soldiers are also unaware that Midoriya was unintentionally involved due to being at the wrong place and at the wrong time, and thus they did not bother in checking anything else and went on to take the dead bodies to the nearest morgues. And given that there are no CCTV installed, the soldiers have no idea that the incident at the police station is really murder-driven given that the cult members have a diabolical reason to target Midoriya in the first place. After some time, Midoriya arrived at the said village, where the girl showed him what has befallen it, where the elders and adults are turned into stone, while none of the children are left, and she revealed to Midoriya that she managed to hit herself as the cult members uses some kind of black magic to turn the elders and the parents into stone while the rest rounded up the children and took them away, where she overheard one of them saying that they are to be taken somewhere in Mayapore. Midoriya then asked why didn't she call the police for help, in which she said that the government appeared to be less interested as they are worrying over their own image and that they are indifferent towards the less privileged, and that no one would believe her if she were to tell them what has befallen her village. She gave Midoriya a picture of the miracle stone and showed him the place where the stone was placed, and said that once the stone has been retrieved and placed there, its power will restore life in this village, and she begged Midoriya to help save her village and the kidnapped children. Please, I beg you. I have no one else to turn to. You may be our village's only hope. Well, okay. I'll help. Really? Yes. I'm a hero student. I'll help those who are in need. Thank you. Suddenly, a knife struck her on her throat and she slowly died from bleeding, and as Midoriya looked around he saw one of the cult members did it, and he is staring wickedly at him, as he threw a grenade and struck the dead girl, dismembering her into pieces, and Midoriya is angered by this and said he will pay for that. But the man said nothing as he gives off a wicked vibe as he took out another knife and is ready to throw, and finally said that no one will leave this place alive and live to tell the tale, for the cult of Thagis will resurrect the goddess Kali. Now you die. Why did you do that? Those who defy the cult must die. And you have to kill an innocent girl for that. No exceptions. Even you. You'll pay for that. Now you die, and pay tribute to the goddess Kali. DMNU. Midoriya is about to give in to rage at what the cult member did, but recalling what happened to Ida when he confronted Hero Killer, Stain several months ago, he managed to temper his actions and try to subdue the attacker, where he activated his quirk and went for shoot style, jumping high and evading the knife throws, did a flying kick, hitting the cult member, and the villain was thrown back and collided against a tree, disabling him. There Midoriya disarms the attacker and demanded answers, asking where his cohorts are hiding and where the children of this village are taken, in which the cult member remained defiant, saying that the children will never be brought back alive, for they will be sacrificed to reawaken the goddess Kali, which only made Midoriya said, saying that there are no such things like that and it does not justify in abducting children and committing murder. What you're doing won't bring you anything. All of this are for the goddess Kali. So tell me where the children are taken. Never, it is the will of the goddess Kali. Don't waste my time. All for the goddess Kali. You're really ticking me off. All of these are for the goddess Kali. In spite of the tense atmosphere, Midoriya remained alert somehow, as he sensed that someone is sneaking behind him, and in the nick of time, he saw another attacker lunging forward, and he evaded it as the other attacker intended to stab the boy with a knife, but as Midoriya dodges, the attacker ended up stabbing his fellow cult member and the cult member was stabbed on the forehead, penetrating his skull and died instantly. As the other attacker attempted to pull the knife out of the other attacker's head, Midoriya took the chance and executed the Detroit Smash, knocking the attacker down, and there he attempted to interrogate him in order to get some answers, and like the other attacker, this man is also defiant, reiterating that no one will survive the cult of Thuggees alive and live to tell the tale. Midoriya gritted his teeth seeing that they are not only fanatical, they are trained somewhat to utter the same doctrine over and over, and felt that he is getting nowhere in finding a lead that would take him straight to the cult's lair. But then an idea hit him and decided to try it out, until he saw a third attacker, armed with a semi-automatic gun and opened fire, which Midoriya dodges, but killed the other attacker in the process, and as Midoriya hid behind a thick tree, the attacker kept on firing the gun, determined to shoot his target to death, and as he is approaching, Midoriya uses the full cowling to jump over the tree, and uses the left arm gauntlet and fired the grappling hook to hit the gunman on the head, momentarily knocking him out, and there Midoriya secretly placed a tracking device on his turban. As Midoriya hid at one of the village houses, the attacker woke up and looked around, seeing that Midoriya is nowhere to be seen, and there 2 more cult members arrived, where they said that they heard gunfire and asked what happened. There they were told about it and offered to search the houses in case the target is hiding there and once found he will be killed on sight, but the other cult members said not to bother as they are instructed to head back to the hideout. The 3 cult members then agreed that Midoriya won't be a threat given that he has fled, and that he do not have proof to prove that the cult of Thuggees exists, as well as that the government of India would not pay attention to this impoverished village. Forget the boy. Yes. He is not a threat at the moment. He won't find our hideout. Very well. We must return. Yes. We have work to do. Indeed. All for the resurrection of the goddess Kali. Then let us go. We have work to do. And more for the goddess Kali. After that, the 3 attackers took their leave as they fled the village, not knowing that one of them had a tracking device attached to his turban and did not bother double-checking the houses as they believed that Midoriya fled the village in panic. They boarded a jeep and drive away, and once out of sight, Midoriya emerged from one of the village houses, and took out a device that Hatsume invented, where it turned out to be a tracer, where the LED screen shows where the tracking device is pointing the directions where the attacker went, and there Midoriya approached the corpse of the dead girl, apologizing to her for being unable to save her. He then dug a grave and buried the girl's body and offered prayers, and once it is done, he reluctantly took the bicycle and pedaled his way back to the hostel to safeguard the rest of his belongings. The hostel owner greeted Midoriya and asked how his tour went, and not wanting to attract suspicion, he pretended to say he enjoyed it. Really? Yeah. It was memorable. Good to hear. I'll be sure to come back here one day. Yes, and I'm sure you can invite others. Anyway, sir. Yes. To get some insight, Midoriya pretended to be curious and asked about this village, and the hostel owner reluctantly told Midoriya what he knows, and admitted that there is corruption within the political system of this country, and hence why the said village was impoverished and that it did not gain media attention, as the corrupt politicians are more concerned about their image rather than the citizens. Midoriya clenched his fists seeing that this is one country he has come to loathe, that the political leaders intentionally forsaken some of the citizens they are supposed to protect, and their Midoriya pretended to be more curious, and said he heard rumors about some sick people worshipping something about Kali, and the hostel owner covered the boy's mouth. He looked around seeing that no one is around at the moment and whispered to Midoriya, telling him in a concerned tone not to bring that topic up, stating that those who got the gist of that ended up dead, and the police would wash their hands and say it is the work of perverts. The hostel owner confessed that the sick people he mentioned just now are members of the cult of Thuggies, and said that the group are so secretive that the politicians paid little attention to them, and advised Midoriya not to venture out alone and avoid strolling at night, saying that the cult members usually target children for abduction, but they might choose random person whom they believe would be of use to their cause. And that is that. So if you value your life and want to return to your country in one piece, do as I advise you to do. Believe me, I'm saving your life here. Is it that serious? Yes. I see. Midoriya nodded and apologized for making him worried, and the hostel owner nodded and told Midoriya to stick to his itinerary and travel with a group, stressing that he is also concerned about his customers as he doesn't want to lose any that would keep his business floating. As he went to his rented room, Midoriya prepared his things, as he is now intent to find this hideout and rescue the abducted children and retrieve the miracle stone and bring it back to the village in order to undo the curse, as well as defeat the cult and expose them to the government of India so that the politicians would be forced to make a compromise so that they won't be disgraced. Midoriya then puts on his hero costume and then his trench coat, where he decided to head there right away, but then the hostel owner came barging in, and told Midoriya to get out of here as cobras are invading the hostel. Hey, boy. You got to get out of here. Why? Cobras are invading this hostel. No way, could it be? Don't brood. Just go and save yourself. Midoriya stared wide-eyed at hearing this, and then screams can be heard and the two went out of the room where other tourists are running and screaming, while others are on the floor as several cobras are biting their prey, and Midoriya was in disbelief, as he wondered if he has been tracked down. The hostel owner told Midoriya to make a run for it, but the UA student asked the hostel owner what is he going to do at this time, but the hostel owner told Midoriya not to worry and urged him to run. Realizing that a cult member might be outside and controlling the cobras, Midoriya ran out of the hostel, and looking around, he saw one playing a flute, and he uses the gauntlet's grappling hook to hit the man and knocked him out, and as he went back inside the hostel, he saw the cobras stop attacking and passed out. Midoriya urges the hostel owner to call the police and notified him about the attacker outside. The hostel owner nodded as he picked the phone to call the police, and Midoriya went off as he boarded the bicycle and pedaled away, heading to the source of the signal as the tracking is leading Midoriya towards the source where the cult's hideout is located.